Hey guys, so as promised I have my book review of Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur, and I loved this book. It was short, it was sweet, it was only 200 pages, but it was amazing. A lot of the poems take up a whole page, and they could be like 4 words, but incredibly powerful. She has this really great way of taking a few words and impacting them in a way that you didn't think was possible. The imagery she gives in some of her longer poems are amazing, and just the variety in this book. Like, she has 4 chapters in it. So they go in order. There's the hurting, the loving, the breaking, and the healing. Each chapter has poems that relate to the specific topic, and they can vary in what exactly they talk about. So we can have things that talk about her childhood, to things how she talks about misogyny in an Indian family and what it's like to go through those sorts of things. And it's incredible what she writes about. I think whatever background you come from, this is really a book that you can... That happened. A book that most people can relate to, and that's what I loved about it, because I related so hard to this. Not only does it draw from my experience, having grown up partially in an Indian family, I'm half Indian, but it just relates to so many things, like society's expectations of women, and what it's like to love and hurt and break, and feel and think and think like you felt it and you haven't felt it. So I thought I'd give you guys a poem for each chapter, just to give you a little test of what it tastes like. The first one is from the first chapter, which is called The Hurting. And this was a jaw-dropping chapter. This one just made my jaw go, because some of the topics she talked about was just like, this couldn't have all happened to the one person. And it really makes you realize in context how shitty life actually is. But it molds really nicely into the way she... I don't know how to describe it. It molds nicely into the way she goes in the next chapter, which is the loving, and that takes a definite upturn. So, this one is called Safety. If I knew what safety looked like, I would have spent less time falling into arms that were not. That it's 5 lines. It's 5 lines. There's no punctuation, so it's just a lot of run-on sentences. It's amazing poetry. And the other thing about this book is all through the book, they have illustrations on the second page. So if you look at this one, there's these illustrations of these hands under the poem. And it was brilliant. They're so pretty, and just some of the ideas for the illustrations are amazing. The way they relate to the poem are lovely. So if you really want a short read, this is the book for you. The next chapter is from the chapter The Loving, and this, I gotta say, was my favorite chapter. I am such a shipping piece of shit, in that I will just ship everything, because I am that type of person. And I think this poem that I'm going to read you guys really sums up that upturn I took from reading The Hurting and listening to her experiences and a lot of the struggles she's gone through in life, and then just, you know, taking an upturn towards the end of it and into the next chapter, and it really made me happy, and I loved it. I love this chapter because she really turns into herself, and you see how much of a independent woman she's becoming. So here we go. We've been arguing for more than we ought to about things neither of us remember or care about, because that's how we avoid bigger questions instead of asking why we don't say I love you to one another as often as we used to. We fight about things like who was supposed to get up and to turn off the lights first, or who was supposed to put the frozen pizza in the oven after work. Taking hits at the most vulnerable parts of one another. We're like fingers on thorns of honey. We know exactly where it hurts. And everything is on the table tonight. Like that one time you whispered a name I'm pretty sure wasn't mine in your sleep. Or last week when you said you were working late, so I called your work and they said you'd already left a couple of hours ago. Where were you for this couple of hours? I know. Your excuses make all the sense in the world. and I get a little carried away for no good reason, and eventually begin crying. But what else do you expect, baby? I love you so much. I'm sorry. I thought you were lying. That's when you hold your head with your hands in frustration, half beg me to stop, half tired and sick of it. The toxin in our mouths has burnt holes in our cheeks. We look less alive than we used to, less color in our faces. But don't kid yourself, no matter how bad it gets, we both know you still want to nail me to the ground. Especially when I'm screaming loud, our fights wake the neighbors. They come running to the door to save us. Baby, don't open up. Instead, lie me down, lay me open like a map, and with your finger trace the places you still want to fuck out of me. Kiss me like I am the center point of gravity, and you are falling into my soul. This is the focal point of yours. And when your mouth is kissing not my mouth, but other places, my legs will split apart out of habit. That's when I pull you in, welcome you home. When the entire street is looking out their windows, wondering what the commotion is about, and then fire trucks came rolling in to save us, but they can't distinguish whether these flames began with our anger or our passion, I will smile, throw my head back, arc my body like a mountain. You want to split in half. Baby, lick me. Like your mouth has the gift of reading, I'm your favorite book. Find your favorite page in the soft spot between my legs. Read it carefully, fluently, vividly. I don't dare you leave a single word untouched. I swear I'm ending. It will be so good the last few seconds running into your mouth. And when you're done, take a seat, 'cause it's my turn to make music with my knees pressed to the ground. Sweet baby, this is how we pull language at one of another with a flick of our tongues. This is how we have this conversation. This is how we make up. That was such a beautiful poem. The beginning is so powerful, and it's so... It's her imagery and the way she does it, it touches you right here. Just, oh, it makes me so happy. The next book, the next chapter, I should say, was really, made me really sad because throughout all of the loving, the last chapter, I shipped them so hard and they were such a cute couple, and it couldn't stay like that, and it was naive, and I really just wanted that storybook ending, but this is pretty much an autobiography of her life, and of course, things aren't going to stay the same forever, so I was devastated, but here we go. You were temptingly beautiful, but stung when I got close. That's it. That's the poem, and it's beautiful because the illustration on this page is a rose. And this broke my heart because reading this poem, reading these poems, going through this book, it's such, you read the loving and it's such an upturn from the first chapter. You don't want it to end because it's like being on a high and you're so happy, and then it goes into plummets. It makes me so sad, and that's, I hated it so much. I loved her poetry. It made me so upset, and I almost started crying because I just love this couple so much, and I really did not want it to end, but it had to eventually, and it was naive to sit there and be like, oh, I want this to be a thing that happens forever, but you know what, things move on, things change, and yeah, so that's it. The last chapter, this was, I think, the most warming, because she really starts to accept the fact that not everything in life is going to go to her way, and you'd think something, or someone who these things have happened to, that she talks about with her poetry, would have accepted that already, but after the breaking, it's just, oh, you feel so bad for her, and especially the fact that she constantly falls into these bad relationships. But in the end, I feel like this poem really sums up this last chapter. And all it is, accept yourself as you were designed. That's it. That's the poem, and it's lovely because it shows how much she's grown. And the fact that she can look herself in the mirror now and go, I am beautiful, I don't need someone, I don't need to love someone, I don't need someone to love me, I am strong, I need to love myself. And that is the most beautiful thing I think I can take away from this book, is life is hard and life is shitty and things go wrong in life that we don't need. And I think that's something that really serenades with everyone, no matter where you come from, because everybody's going to go through struggles in life, and that's one of the things she talks about, and I love how well she's done it. This is a book I particularly loved the hardcover of, because it had this lovely fabric hardcover that has this lovely fabric texture, and the book lace was also lovely because it is a piece of black denim, and it's pretty, it's thick, it's a bit too thick for the pages, and I don't like using it, but it goes well with the book and makes me happy. Overall, I would give this book about a 3.5, no, not a 4.5, what am I talking about? This was an amazing book, and I definitely recommend it to everyone. It has been a while since this book has come out, and it's still incredibly popular, and I love it so much. I probably will reread it again because it's just that good, so I would recommend go out, buy yourself a copy. There is a paperback of this book that is generally cheaper. I think it's about $10 cheaper AUD, Australian dollars. I got this on hardcover, so it was about $20, but, you know, if you're on a tight budget, you could get this for about $12, $10 depending on where you go. I went to Gimmicks because it's just the closest bookshop. And that's that for this book. So, I know my last video was a book haul. I just can't keep myself away from bookshops, so I picked up 2 books today on my way home. I picked up another copy of Milk and Honey because I recommended it so highly to my friend that she just gave me the money and told me to go to the store and get another one. So I did. I also got How to Be Boss by Lily Singh. I love her. She's such a role model of mine, and I can't express to you how much I love her and how excited I am to have this book. It's so happy. It's filled with illustrations and colorful pictures. And just inspirational quotes, and it's so motivational, and she's such a motivational person. I had to pick up her book. And I got the first Singer, so if you haven't realized, in the last haul video, ooh, no, that's upside down, wow. In the last haul video, I got Shadow Black by Sebastian de Castle. And this video, I got the first one. So there's Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castle. This is blue, and this is red. This is red, and this is blue. So they look pretty together on their bookshelf. And I'd just like to point out how ornate the back of these books are. If I hold this up, I love... This is just the paperback, and I'm loving it. So, I have not read the blurb, and I'm not even looking at the screen to read the blurb, but if you'd like to read the blurb, there's the blurb. I've said blurb a lot of times, and it's starting not to feel like a word. So as you can see there, I got this for $21, no, $22. It is a rather, it's a medium length book. It's got, well, I'm trying to find how many pages is in this book. What is with these pages at the back? 400, so it's exactly a 400 page book. And this one looks around the same thing. Oh no, the next one is slightly smaller, so that's interesting. But I'm really excited. I've had so many recommendations for this book that I am excited to start the series. Then this one just came out, and a lot of people have bought it, and it's been on like the top 100 shelf for ages. So I figured, why not pick it up? I even went to the bookstore. I'm like, oh, what's a book relating to like Harry Potter? And I feel like that's something they get a lot, because if you read books, you've read Harry Potter. That's just a fact. So they were like, oh, this book, and I was so happy to have finally gotten it. So I did get this book, and I'm loving it. I intentionally do not read the blurb. I try my best not to, but I did have to get a new shelf, so I'm going to show you guys that right now. Woo! We're going on a trip. So, this is the new shelf. As you can see, focus. So here's all the books from my whole video, plus my copy of the Iliad and Odyssey and Inkheart. And I don't know if I can show you guys up there, but up there is my regular bookshelf where I keep like my series of Harry Potter, my classics like Catch-22. So that is that. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, like and subscribe and comment and do all that fun jazz. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!